For centuries, humanity has looked up to the stars and wondered what secrets might drift through the darkness between them. We have mapped the planets, traced comets, and catalogued countless asteroids, believing that the solar system was a closed neighborhood where everything followed predictable rules. But every so often, the universe sends us a reminder that we are not the solar players on this stage. The James Webb Space Telescope, built way back in time and captured the first light of galaxies born after the Big Bang, has now turned its gaze on something entirely different, something close, fast, and alien. An interstellar traveler moving with such speed and presence that it cannot be explained by natural means alone. At first, it was thought to be just another rock a fragment expelled from a distant star system long ago. But then the anomalies begin to fill up, its orbit to excite, its surface too reflective, its movement too deliberate. Now, with Webb's instruments capturing the clearest image ever taken of this mysterious visitor, the uncomfortable truth is imagine. 3 Atlas may not be a comet or an asteroid at all. It may be a machine built by hands or something far older and more advanced than our own. And if that is true, then its arrival is not just a discovery, it's a message. Well, before we decode the message, if you don't subscribe to my channel, just subscribe. But before we get started, I'd like to tell you a reminder. I had a cold for last few days, so my voice is more unusual than usual, so please don't mind it. And now let's get started. When the 3 Atlas was first detected on July 1st by the NASA-funded Atlas survey, it appeared to be nothing more than a faint spark against the velvet black of space. But within days, astronomers realized it was extraordinary. Its speed was measured over 133,000 miles per hour, faster than almost anything we ever dragged. More alarming still, it was not bound to the gravitational pull of the sun in the way natural bodies usually are. Its orbit was hyperbolic, meaning it had come from interstellar space and would in theory leave again. That alone placed it among the rarest objects ever discovered. Only the 3 interstellar visitors humanity has ever confirmed after Oumuamua and Boris. But unlike them, its trajectory was unsettling and its perfection. It aligned itself to swarm near the orbits of Jupiter and Mars before slingshotting around the Sun, timed perfectly so that Earth would be on the opposite side when it made its closest approach. To some scientists, this was a coincidence. To others, it looked like awareness. This first glimpse of the Atlas confirmed what many feared. Its surface was smooth, reflective, and geometric in ways that defied natural formation. Instead of tumbling chaotically through space, it rotated with a steady rhythm as though stabilized by an internal mechanism. Natural objects don't fly like this, but machines do. When the James Webb Telescope locked onto 3 Atlas, scientists expected to see the familiar charcoal irregularities of an icy rock, but Webb's powerful instruments revealed something that shattered those expectations. The surface of the object reflected lights like polished shimmering with the unnatural brightness that no cometary eyes could produce. It was small, yes, but its reflectivity made it appear larger, as if designed to stand out rather than hide. More distinctly, Webb detected fade by repeating thermal signatures across its surface. These were not the kinetic emissions of a comet shedding gas and dust, but measured pulses of heat released in intervals, so precise that they resembled a code. Natural objects do not send messages yet. Here was an interstellar body radiating patterns that hidden had intent. The stability of its spin, the constancy of its orientation, the way it managed its heat intake, all of it resembled a technology, not geology. However, astrophysicists Harry Loeb, who once argued that Oumuamua might have been artificial, pointed to these details as the strangest evidence yet that we may be seeing engineered design. Look for non-gravitational acceleration, he warned. And sure enough, Webb picked up tiny but deliberate course corrections set in registry too subtle to be cast by sunlight or random outcasting. Something inside the atlas was steering it. As data ran in, something even stranger began to appear. Analysts reviewing the inflow signatures noticed that the pulses from 3 atlas were not random. There followed sequences. First came prime numbers, then Fibonacci patterns, then ratios, suspiciously close to pi. These are not accidents of physics, they are hallmarks of communication. In the search for extraterrestrial intelligence, scientists have long argued that mathematics is the universal language, the only way to prove intelligence across the stars. And now, here it was, written not in radio waves but in heat, a subtle, deliberate signal encoded in the very way the object released energy. Some speculated it was aimed at us, waiting for us to notice. Others feared it was not for us at all, but for someone else, another receiver far beyond our reach. Governments and space agencies, once open about sharing data, suddenly grow silent. Observation logs went offline, database froze, and updates were locked behind the closed doors. Journalists searching for answers found only redacted reports and cryptic statements. In the silence, theories spread like wildfire. Was 3 Atlas communicating with Earth? Or was Earth simply eavesdropping on a conversation never meant for us? With every new discovery, the possibility that 3D Atlas is artificial grows stranger. Its heat shielding, its stabilized spin, its coated signals, even the faint electromagnetic bursts detected by Webb all point to design, not accident. If it is a probe, then it means someone out there has been building machines capable of traveling between the stars. Machines that could have been launched thousands or even millions of years ago. And if it is a machine, then it is here with a purpose. Some scientists argue it could be a surveyor cataloging planets and civilizations as part of a vast interstellar network. Others suggested maybe a relic, a ancient construct still carrying out a mission long after its creators are gone. But the most chilling theory is that it is a sentinel deliberately timed to reveal itself now that humanity has the technology to detect and steady it. Its silence, its awareness of Earth, its strange but unmistakable patterns, all of it feels less like coincidence and more like a test. A test not of our science but of our renaissance. Because if 3i Atlas is watching us, then it may not be here to communicate at all. It may simply be here to decide what happens next. As scientists continue to track the atlas, one detail grows harder to dismiss. Its registry appeared to be carefully mapped to avoid Earth. When it's plotted against the orbital paths of the planets, the object's route seemed to perfect, scheming the gravitational fields of Mars and Jupiter, but steering just wide of our planet by millions of miles. At first, this was written off as coincidence, the natural product of a random hyperbolic orbit. But statistical models showed something far stranger. The probability of such a perfect awareness occurring naturally was vanishingly small. This was not the chaotic pondering of a cometary fragment. It was accurate. To some, this awareness suggests conditions as if 3i Atlas was deliberately keeping its distance, surveying from afar without direct engagement. To others, it hidden at a strategy, a advanced probe, ensuring it could not observe us without being detected too early. If so, then the unsettling question arises. How many times has it or others like it passed through our solar system unnoticed before? Webb's high-resolution thermal scan revealed another anomaly. Unlike natural bodies which rotate freely and expose all the sides to the sun's heat, 3 Atlas kept one side almost constantly oriented toward the star as though supplied with a shield. That side showed abnormal reflectivity, bouncing back solar radiation far more efficiently than the rest of the object. This raises the possibility of deliberate engineering, a heat-resistant surface, perhaps similar to the thermal protection system we use on spacecraft. But this shielding was far beyond our capabilities, withstanding not only solar radiation but also regulating internal heat to an astonishing degree. Some researchers even proposed it could function as a cell capturing solar energy for thrust while protecting sensitive equipment within. Others speculated it might be a kind of clocking mechanism designed to mask its true nature by presenting only a reflective surface to observation. Okay, whatever its purpose, the excellence of such a shield implied one undeniable fact. 3 Atlas was built to endure not for days or years but for eons of interstellar travel. The more scientists examined the web data, the less certain they became the 3 Atlas was alone. Faint anomalies appeared in the background of the images, dim reflections, subtle distortions, possible smaller companions traveling in its wake. This could have been camera artifacts, but some analysts argued otherwise. Cross-checks with ground-based telescopes revealed the hits of secondary objects, smaller, fainter yet, following the same trajectory. So, could the 3 Atlas be part of a swarm, just as other mysterious interstellar visitors have been theorized to be? If so, then Webb's first image was not simply capturing a lone traveler, but the leading edge of something larger. A caravan of probes or figments deliberately designed to scatter and collect information. The possibility rattled researchers. If this was just one of many, then what we are seeing may not be an isolated event, but one intersection in a network spread across the stars. At first, news of 3 Atlas spread quickly with NASA is an independent observatory sharing updates freely. But as the web's images become clear and the anomalies harder to explain, that openness begin to shrink. Well, the doubt is this: data once accessible to the public suddenly required clearnesses. Reports were redacted, even some observatories claimed technical difficulties while others simply went silent. But journalists pressing for answers were met with vague statements about ongoing analysis and the need to avoid premature speculation. Yet, in the shadows of this silence, leaked fragments of information begin to surface, suggesting that the 3 Atlas behavior was too deliberate to dismiss and that agencies knew far more than they were willing to admit. Also, Elon Musk himself weighed in on social media, hitting that what Webb has captured was the clearest sign yet that we are not alone. Whether his words were speculation or based on privileged knowledge remains unknown. But one thing is clear: 3 Atlas has forced agencies to choose between transparency and secrecy, and the silence may speak louder than anything else. 3 Atlas was supposed to be a drifting curiosity, another rock from the void passing through our system before vanishing forever. But the James Webb Space Telescope has shown us otherwise. Its reflective shade, its presence registry, its strange pulses of heat, its possible companions, all of it points not to randomness but to intention, and intention means design. If this is a machine, then somewhere in the vastness beyond our sun, there are markers, beings who have already mastered the ability to cross the stars. What they want and why they have chosen now remains the greatest mystery of all. Well, perhaps they are observing, measuring, waiting for humanity to take the next step before revealing themselves. Or perhaps they have no interest in us at all, and we are simply eavesdropping on a machine far larger than our imagination can control. The silence from agencies, the quoted signals in the data, the refusal of the object to approach Earth, all of this feels like a test, and the truth is, we may not be the ones designing the outcome. The universe sent us a messenger, and whether we like it or not, it has stopped being a question of if we are alone. The only question left is what happens when the silence finally breaks. So if you like this video, just subscribe, like, share. Bye everyone.